Part 2, Chapter 13, psychography, indirect psychography using planchettes, etc., and then direct or manual psychography. Development of the Spiritist movement along this time frame of the Victorian era was very rapid. Although we are separated only a few years by when it first started, that we're able to converse with spirits more quickly and rapidly, just as a person would, or men converse with each other by speech and writing. Writing has the advantage of furnishing a permanent evidence of the action of the occult power that we can preserve, as we preserve letters from correspondence in the flesh. As previously remarked, the first method employed was the use of a basket or planchettes with a pencil attached to them on top of a table, which we will now briefly describe this method. We have said that people endowed with a special aptitude can produce a rotary movement of a table or another object. Let us suppose, in lieu of a table, that we employ the small basket or planchette with a pencil so that the pencil will write on the paper underneath of it. If it's made to move, the pencil traces scrawls and marks, making attempt at writing or writing legible and intelligible words. If the spirit is willing to communicate, he will no longer answer by raps, but then will start to write. Several other contraptions have been invented, and communications of many pages may be attained rapidly as though written by the hand itself. The acting intelligence often manifests itself by other signs, equally conclusive, as when the pencil, having reached the bottom of the page, will make a spontaneous movement to turn over the leaf, or is moved back over the same page or over several pages to some preceding word or passage, but then it will underline the word or efface. I guess that means strike through or block out with the pencil. Sometimes the pencil will point to a company in present who the message is meant for. Sometimes it will say yes or no, such as if we would move our head or hand with the pencil. Sometimes, in expressing anger and impatience, the pencil will strike repeatedly on the table, and often so violently as to break the pencil lead. In using these appliances, it is almost always necessary that two people are participating, but it's not always necessary that the second person is a medium. His presence is only needed to maintain the balance of the instrument and to lessen the medium's fatigue. We thus may designate this writing as indirect psychography, in contradiction to direct or manual, obtained by the hand of the medium itself. So all these terms, I don't memorize these long terms. It's more like the information about how the pencil works or how the medium's hand works that's important. In the cases of spirit writing, it's not that the planchette or the pencil becomes intelligent, for they're merely the instruments of the intelligence. The instrument is only a pencil holder between the hand and the pencil. With the pencil in the medium's hand, you will have the same result. But now the medium will now write as he does normally. Thus, whoever writes with the planchette can obtain direct writing. Of all the mediums of communication, writing with the hand, or involuntary writing, is the simplest and most convenient because it requires no preparation to automatic write and is available as common writing. And we shall return to the subject when we talk of mediums. When spirit manifestation first became known, ideas were vague and confused. With regard to several of them, several works were published under the title of Communications of a Basket, of a Planchette, of a Table, and etc. We now understand how erroneous these titles were, not very serious, for the character of these were nothing but instruments without intelligence. The movement of which was actually propelled by something that had life, because these instruments are not able to talk by themselves. So these writers mistook the effect for the cause, that the pencil itself was doing something, I guess. That this might as well say that this book was written by a steel pen or a computer and not a human, basically. Communications then can be given by anything, by a funnel, by a saucepan, by a salad drainer, whatever, your object to the right of you. A spirit communication can use that. If manifestations come by wrappings, and wrappings are made by a chair or a walking stick, it's no longer a table that is needed, but now it's a chair or a stick. What we really want to know is not the nature of the instrument, but the mode of obtaining communications by the spirit. If the communication comes by writing, so all we want is a pencil, we call it psychography. If it comes by raps, we call it psychography. There's a dash and a space between the pencil and the wall, I guess. They're saying it requires specific scientific terms to describe these phenomenons. Which brings us next to the next chapter 14.